Hey everybody, we're back again to show you a little bit more about Tank Duel. I know we've done an unboxing and it was pretty quick. I just want to show a little bit more in-depth look at the game and the great graphics. I'm very pleased with the way the game looks. So again, we've got 16 different tank boards. They are printed, double-sided, so we get a lot of choices for tanks. Just show you a couple here, close-ups, of a Panther. Here's a T-34-76 and a KV-85. I love the detail on the tanks. And a SU-100. So these are the tank boards, and you keep track of everything that's going on in the game on these boards. Just to show you a couple things, you've got a place where you have ranges and penetration and values and to hit numbers. You have a range track up here on top, what range you are on the battlefield. You have a spot in the middle of the tanks where you put your individual crew members, and they can become wounded or killed in action. And you have a general track over here on this side, and it has a fire and a move level, which is very important in the game. You have a place down here for an initiative card. It also gives the victory points and what equipment's on the tank. The victory points, you'll notice this tank is only worth 5 victory points, and the commander itself is worth 6. So you're very invested in your crew members in this game. You can always make more tanks, but you're going to run out of quality crew eventually. And then there's a spot here for your initiative card, which is played. Everybody will take a card and play their initiative from 1 to 100. And 1 goes first, 100 goes last during the turn. Everybody flips that over and places it right here with this number facing so the other side can see it. And that's your initiative. So 1 will go before 10 and so forth. So that's what that is. There's also a spot right here for terrain, what type of terrain that you are in during the game. Right here is a default field, but if I was to move, I could find some woods, and I would play the woods card, and it would go right there to show that my tank is actually in some woods. So that's a real quick look at the tanks and the tank boards. I'm going to show you a little more in depth on the cards right now. The game's played with a deck of cards from 1 to 100. You can see these little numbers up here. And you'll have a hand of cards that you will use to either move, shoot, do multiple things during the game. So just to kind of give you a nice look at the graphics on these cards. It looks like old parchment paper with a paperclip stain, and just awesome artwork. Just super happy with it. It's really turned out well. And we have things down here at the bottom. Everything in red is something that's a trigger that happens. There's multiple things on this card. There are text on the top of what it is. It's a move level 2. Remember when we were looking over here with the move level 7? Well, this tank can use a move card of 7 or less to be able to move, and this is a move 2, so it's a legal card to be played. It tells you what you can do with the card, and then what cover, because basically the cover is how hard it is to hit you when you're a moving target. And to hit, if you're moving, it's really hard to hit somebody while you're on the move. So you're going to have some stuff over here. You're going to have a penetration of how well this card, when you use to fire, will penetrate, and target numbers in the white with the little aiming point. And then you'll have some triggers here in the middle, that an explosion, and this will be fire, and binoculars, and extinguisher, and there'll be smoke in that one. So you can see each one's different. That one's got some smoke, that one's got some fire. So that's those cards. So I'm going to show you a couple other things that we have in the game real quick. We have there's another deck of cards here. we've got, these are called alternative cards, alternate cards. If it says alternate right here, that means you can take your main deck in and put these cards in instead of the original. So card 13 in the main deck could be substituted for this card, which is a mine card. And then if you want some hills in your game, you could add this and you'll be taking out other type of terrain. Or brush, field, so you can make your deck however you want it to be terrain-wise. You want a wide open killing fields, you can do that. You want a lot of cover, you can do that. Here's the end game card and the shuffle card. Love the graphics on there. So those will be used during the game. A few more cards just to quick look at. We've got nice reference cards that has damage. So you quickly can look things up when you do stuff to other tanks. Then we've got some broken cards, which are pretty cool looking. So this would actually go on your tank right here to signify that your crew is broken. Then also you could be on fire, an on fire card, and that one goes there also. So that tank would be on fire and the crew is broken. Not a good thing to be. And then we've got the damage deck. The damage deck looks like this. We've got a critical hit section, turret, hull, and tracks. And this side over here is for morale checks. So if you, looking up here at the top, at the critical hit section, if it ends up being a critical hit, you would use this section right here. And then the one that says turret, if it's not a critical hit, it was a turret hit, you'd use that. Now you will also notice, I'm going to go down just a little bit, if you'll look here at the hull, you'll see that under light damage, the driver is all in caps. That means, that the driver and the assistant driver are lowercase. That means that they are wounded. If I was to find one that, like right here, under turret, you see the loader is all in uppercase, that means he is dead. And right next to him, the commander is lowercase, he would be wounded. And then you see the fire next to it, lowercase means you will check to see if it's on fire. If it was all uppercase, it would be, there's not one on here, but all uppercase would mean it's an automatic fire. And then on this side here, we use for morale checks. Different crew quality, the top three. Then if your commander's dead, or you are immobilized or on fire. And all green checks mean you pass. Red ones, like right here, means you fail. So if you were immobilized, you would fail your morale check. And there's just a whole bunch of these. And then we have a nice catastrophic kill to reshuffle the deck as you are pulling. A couple more cards to show you. We've got a complete city deck. So when you play a city scenario, all of the terrain cards get substituted for the city deck. So no hills or brush or any of that stuff. We have special historical scenarios, and some of these cards are used for so these two are used for one of our scenarios. The other one are these two. And then we've got some other scenario-driven road and hill cards that are specific for the historical scenarios. We got a bridge card for one of the scenarios when you're trying to establish a bridgehead. And then for the solitaire guys, here's some of the solitaire stuff. We've got a deck of, we call them Robota cards. And these cards are used for the bot player who will, play against you as in a solitaire game. And it gives, like this card, the opponent is aggressive. Now he's cautious on this card. And it gives different priorities that they will do against you. And they're two-sided, alert, bold, aggressive. So there's a bunch of those, and we've got some move cards for the solo. The last bit of cards in the game, one of the scenarios, some of the scenarios have anti-tank guns. So we have anti-tank guns in the game. 3 for the Germans, 3 for the Russians, and then infantry advance. We've got some advance cards for the infantry, and the infantry have their own cards. There's a set of German and Russian infantry cards. They are used, 2 of them are used when it's a wide open battle, and then 2 for the city, because they're a little bit different on the numbers. Same for the Russians. So that's a quick look at the cards and the art that's on them. One thing I wanted to point out that I'm really happy with are these counter sheets. The artwork is just tremendous on here. You can zoom in and see. And then we give you some spares. So if you lose some or you wear some out, that we have some spares for you. Now look at here down at these spots. Now watch how great these things come out. Done. Punched. And look how clean that is. No fuzzies. These counter sheets are amazing, which I'm really, really happy about. So that's Tank Duel. I appreciate you guys taking the time to look at the video, and we'll get some more videos up real soon on some gameplay.